So guys, it happened again. Some more amazing new goth music has found me, and I'm here to share it with you guys. Alright, it all happened on Facebook. Funny how that works. Under the suggested friends list was the lead singer behind the two musical projects that I am going to be discussing today. So I added him, and he immediately sent me an invitation to like his pages for his solo acoustic project, Morgue Poetry, as well as his dark dynamic and dramatic duo, like for the alliteration, Wisborg. I'll tell you right now, I was very much taken by surprise by both of these musical projects. Not just because of how amazing both of these musical endeavors are, but also by the fact that they weren't as well known as I thought they deserved to be. Let's spread the love, man! We need more new goth music, come on! Alright, so let's talk first about the vocal quality of Konstantin, the lead singer of both projects. Voices are usually one of the things that really sticks out to me the most. If I were to describe the vocal style of Konstantin, it is very similar to that of Dave Vanian of The Damned, which actually took me by surprise. His voice is rich, it's brooding, he's definitely not afraid to go up to his higher range, and his diction and his vibrato that he uses when he sings gives him a bit more of a refined quality than Dave Vanian's voice, which really distinguishes him and sets him apart. It's really great. It's so refreshing to hear a tenor baritone voice in a goth musical project that doesn't sound like Robert Smith whining, or like Peter Murphy's droning David Bowie wannabe voice. Ugh. So the fact that Konstantin is emulating The Damned is positively fantastic. It's probably the only post-punk band from the 80s that I genuinely enjoy listening to, and something that I do listen to regularly. So, sorry for the tangent, but let's just go ahead and move on. So, as I stated, the first project, Morgue Poetry, is purely a solo acoustic project. Real guitar, real piano, real vocals, but with a very slight dash of distortion in the background. It is really lovely to listen to. In the Absence of Light is a very soulful, calming, introspective, and darkly poetic album. I just loved it. The lyrics are incredibly rebellious, yet romantically expressive. When combined with the intoxicating 6/8 time signature that he uses with the guitar and a little piano to round it out in the first track, the music really steals you away. It's so great. And even though this is purely acoustic, he still isn't afraid to experiment with scene setters and atmospheric additions. So most of the album follows the same kind of format for the songs, but at the same time it doesn't get boring or redundant because he changes keys, he changes the subject matter of his lyrics, and he changes the rhythm in ways that are cohesive to the rest of the album. As far as all of those elements are concerned, To Love Is To Lose is definitely my favorite track on the album. It is in stark contrast with the subject matter of the rest of the songs on the album, which are very rebellious and border on anger. It's really great. To Love Is To Lose, it's just so beautifully and mournfully romantic. What can be more romantic than wishing for your loved one to return from death? That was Edgar Allan Poe's favorite subject matter in his stories, and it's wonderfully emulated here. The companion to this one is very clearly Tonight, begging your lover not to let you pass the night alone. So tender, but all in all, this entire album was a satisfying experience, and I really encourage you guys to check it out. It's so great. I keep saying great, I'm sorry. I just can't think of any other descriptive words. I'll try a little harder, I'm sorry.
A crimson blur.
Alright, now let's move on to the second musical project, which is Wisborg. This is definitely my favorite of the two musical projects contained here in this video. So this band really hits the sweet spot of some elements of post-punk, a heavy dark wave influence, and a bit of industrial for extra depth. oh, oh yeah, it's fantastic. So imagine if The Damned and The Frozen Autumn had a baby with a tiny bit of Vumpsgut thrown into it. This would be it. And it's definitely an unusual combination because it's very rarely that I see a lot of goth music that encompasses several different kinds of subgenres of goth music. So it's really, really, really intoxicating because I love darkwave. And I like certain elements of post-punk, but like I said, it's not something that I would listen to regularly unless it's The Damned. So the album, The Tragedy of Seconds Gone, just dives right into it with a really driving guitar line, fast-paced drums you're familiar with in post-punk music, and a bit of a dancey rhythm and synthesized depth that you hear in darkwave, and a tiny bit of industrial. Woo! This band really gives Konstantin a chance to really show off the capability of his versatile vocal range. I can definitely feel the distinctive post-punk influence on this band, but you can certainly feel the modern darkwave and industrial depth that this has. You guys just gotta hear it, man. The chord progressions and the melodic patterns present in the synthesizers are just so complex, so sinister, and beautiful at the same time. The best part is that I can close my eyes and imagine myself dancing to this in a goth club. It's so intoxicating and it's impossible not to dance to it. The introduction with Seconds Gone shows no mercy as a beginning. This is just straight guitars, a very familiar post-punk rock drum beat with some elements of darkwave. It really takes your breath away. In the Haze of a Drunken Hour is one of my favorites on this album. It sounds like something straight from the pages of Les Fleurs du Mal by Charles Baudelaire. I mean, as far as the lyrics are concerned. And the music is just very dark and trance-like in this one. Really love it. Becoming Caligari is definitely inspired by the silent film The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, a story of toxic and dark obsession. It really just snatches you up. The next one is straight from the text of William Blake. The Sick Rose. Oh man, this is just exquisite. This one straddles the line between darkwave and industrial, and I really love how heavy this one is. And one thing in here that kind of adds a really good contrast to this particular song, balancing against the heavy darkwave and bordering on industrial sound that this particular song has, is the fact that Konstantin is singing in his higher falsetto range, and he's doing so very softly, and it just has this incredibly intoxicating and sexy effect. It just works really well. And plus, guys, come on, I'm a sucker for William Blake. Another deep favorite of mine from this album is Desire. The lyrics are so beautifully written, and I love how this began with a pattern of chords on a piano and then shifts to the heavier guitars and deep synthesizers for the primary focus. That really just catches your attention and draws you in. Konstantin is very good at this. Very good at this indeed. Venus in Chains starts out sounding very post-punky with the singular beats and droning kind of guitar sound, but then it fleshes out with more complexity with the electronic staples. This would totally not be out of place on a fetish night in a goth club. Oh yeah. Temptation and Hesitation is another sexy one like Desire and The Sick Rose, very heavily electronically based. Lots of innuendos here alluding to fleeting youth and jumping in bed. But somehow it works. Winterfall is another example of Konstantin using his softer falsetto range. Seeing how this song is very introspective and somewhat bittersweet, it works, and I love that this is mostly based in piano, deep synthesized strings, and a less pronounced beat. Once again, the subject matter of the lyrics in this song in particular really reminds me of Charles Baudelaire's Les Fleurs du Mal. Yeah, just everything encompassing in this album is just really good. Really good, really well thought out, really well put together. Okay, don't get off track, I need to get to the final track, okay? Don't get off track, I need to get to the final track. Okay. Final track here is Awaking Spring. This is just a piano and synthesized string and some ghostly voices, but it's incredible nonetheless. The piano part is great. Konstantin clearly knows what he's doing with the dissonance in this one, and that's what makes it so eerily beautiful. I don't know about you guys, but a lot of the times when composers or certain musicians out there use a lot of dissonance, it just, you know, it it kind of like gets on your nerves and kind of makes you cringe a little bit. You're just like, ugh! But with certain composers and certain musicians that I have listened to, very rarely will you hear dissonance used in a way that's just like, ew, that was interesting. Do it again. Yeah. And one of the composers that does that I really enjoy would be Donizetti here, and Konstantin definitely uses that same kind of intoxicating dissonance here in this solo piano piece. And it's a really great way to wrap up this album since the previous song segues perfectly into this one. Just a very smooth transition. Overall, both of these musical projects, both of these albums are amazing new experiences in goth music. Something here that everyone can enjoy. DJs out there, because I know that a few goth DJs and goth clubs do watch my videos, please check out Wisborg and play it in your clubs. It's a wonderful middle ground between goth rock, dark wave, and industrial. Oh, it will bring everyone to the dance floor. This is a brand new treasure that everyone will really love. These two projects, as well as Her Despair, which I have discussed before, have completely blown my mind with new sounds that still clings to the legacy of goth music. This makes me incredibly excited for the future of goth. This is living proof that goth is still alive and it continues to grow. Refusing to support new goth bands by insisting that goth should have stayed the way it was in the 80s, you are scaring people away with your pretentious aura instead of allowing the scene to thrive and grow. I want it back because I still haven't ventured into a goth club and want to before it's completely overtaken and the last real goth club in Seattle closes down. There are so many other people who want it back too. You know, people that weren't able to experience it in the early 2000s and the 90s and sometimes even the late 80s would like to experience it, and a lot of elder goths that I know want the magic back in the scene. And I definitely join in on that feeling. So guys, I have a very, very exciting announcement, also involving music. So, in 3 weeks, I am going to be singing in Seattle for the very first time. I am so excited. The fact that I'm singing in Seattle, period, is amazing. And I'm so damn excited for it. So, I am going to be singing with the band Earn, and this is the American band, not the Swedish band. Pretty sure it's Swedish. And I'm going to be joining them on a couple of tracks as kind of a supporting vocalist, and then I will be the featured vocalist in their very famous Shadow Dancer, only this time we will give it more of an epic and darker and more operatic approach as opposed to the one that is out there and really popular right now. Seriously guys, I'm so excited for this. I've been in contact with Earn for a number of years. They've been wanting to work with me for quite a while, but things just kind of fall through and don't really materialize. However, this year, this new year coming up, 2019, it's finally happening. I'm so excited. And yeah, definitely 2019 may just very well be the year that my dreams come true. And Seattle is definitely going to be the city of dreams for me. This is where it's all going to start, guys. I'm so excited. So if you guys want some more details on when the show is, I will provide a link in the description below for the event on Facebook so that you can, you know, mark that you're attending or you're interested in going, or, you know, see what your schedule's like for that week. So the show is going to be on Saturday, January the 19th, Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. And it's going to be at the Rendezvous Jewel Box Theater in Seattle. And it's a beautiful Art Deco kind of theater, very 1920s, very luxurious looking. It's really cool. Beautiful chandelier too. So on top of our performance and our set that we're going to do as Earn and me, there will be some other supporting acts that will be going up there and performing as well. Also will be present the Electric Hellfire Club and a couple of other artists as well. I just can't remember their name off the top of my head. Also guys, before I forget, I almost forgot to mention this. So those of you who will be attending, that's great. I look forward to seeing you. Those of you who won't be able to make it or won't be able to, you know, commute to Seattle to do all of this, you know, I'll be sorry I missed you, but We will be filming the performance and posting it on YouTube later on. It will be on my YouTube channel as well as Ern's YouTube channel. So there. So guys, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being supportive of my endeavors, as well as going out and looking up the music that I recommend to you guys. It really makes me happy to see that, you know, since I made that video on Her Despair a while ago, they have absolutely exploded, and that makes me really happy because they deserve it. And I'm hoping the very same thing happens here with Morgue Poetry and Wisborg. I will very soon be making my video on Guy de Maupassant, and there will be some more French literature to come for you guys. Really excited. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and I will see you guys later. Bye!
Just constantly surrounds us. Everything must die until the flames of passion go out as fast as they ignite.